Super Dan, dealing in the desert. Hello, boys and girls and viewers of all ages. It's time to talk about something that I've wanted to put out for quite some time. Just haven't managed to find the time to do it. But I got a little time before work, and now is the time. This is going to be the top 10 poker dealing wisdoms that you don't learn in school. And you probably don't learn this from management either. But it's wisdom, nevertheless, for you poker dealers who may be beginning dealers, new dealers, or rookie dealers. This may not set in right away, but it's kind of geared towards you guys, but it's also geared for the us dinosaurs who have been dealing more than 10 years. I've had over 13 years on the strip dealing. I've dealt all sorts of games during that time, and this is stuff that I've just learned over the years that have been pretty much holding true, and I want to share them to you because World Series of Poker is around the corner. Starts late May. Goliath is right around the corner. I'm in the Planet Hollywood parking lot right now. It's where I deal poker, and I'm going to share with you right now the top 10 poker dealing wisdoms. Pay attention. Here we go. Number 1, and this is really number 1. Keep the game moving. Keep the game moving. Always be closing. ABC. Keep the game moving. Rule number 2. Refer to rule number 1. Keep the game moving. Listen, stopping the game or the game stopping for any reason is the worst thing that can happen to you as a poker dealer. It costs the players money. It costs you money. It costs the casinos money. Nothing good happens when the game stops. So try as much as you can to not stop the game. Keep the game moving. Number 3. Avoid arguments or participating in one. When you get involved with an argument, when you win, you lose, because you call out a player and the player is not going to like it, and it also slows down the game. So when you win, you lose, and when you lose, because you lose the argument. Unless it's the argument is slowing down the game, or it's a possible physical altercation, it gets really, really serious, don't get involved. It's not going to be good. I'll give you one quick example. When I was first starting dealing, I sat onto a game. There's a Canadian player on my left getting berated by 2 local players. I didn't know they were local at the time. Total verbal assault. I mean, the worst that I've seen in 13 years. And I decided I was going to be the hero. Told them to pretty much stop. Or I will stop dealing, I will get them kicked out of the room, blah, 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 blah. And needless to say, they didn't like it. I called the floor over, and you know what the floor did? He said, let's just play poker. He turns around and walks away. So don't expect sympathy from the floorman. What ended up happening is that I didn't get a thank you from the Canadian. I put one of those players on a heater. They probably won over $1,000 on a 1-2 no limit game in the next couple hands. And I got zilch, 0 goose egg, no tip. And this is from a player who's known to be very loose with the tips, a George as we call it. And that was a very good lesson I learned quite early, which is don't get involved with arguments if you can avoid it. Rule number 4. Don't sweat the small stuff. And I see a lot of anal retentive dealers get into this trouble. Like a player will accidentally throw $1 out of turn in a loud poker room, and you make a big deal about it, make him throw in 2, and he gets in an argument with you, and you slow down the game. and you make them mad. And then another player may do a nervous twitch with his hand, and you say he called, or you say he strung bet when he didn't, and everybody knows he didn't, but you do it anyways. He gets mad. A little thing, or a player pushes a chip in, but it's not quite over the line, and you're just sitting there waiting for him to push it over the line, and blah 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 blah, and it's obvious that the guy's going to call or raise. Once again, you're slowing down the game. All these things are very little, and the whole point of that is keep the game moving. 99 out of 100 times, nobody's going to say anything. 1 out of 100, somebody is. But, you know, just like the players are playing the odds, as a dealer, you're playing the odds. And, you know, ask yourself a question. Do you want to be a $150 tip a day dealer, or do you want to be a $250 tip a day dealer? You know, what's important to you? Is it important for you to be right, or is it important to you to make money? Rule number 5, if you could avoid calling the floor, do so. Because this would violate rule number 1, which is keep the game moving. Nothing slows down the game more than having to call the floor. Having said that, there's going to be times when you're going to have to call the floor. But it's always better to call the floor than to get involved with an argument. That is for sure. Let the heat fall on the floor, not to you, the dealer. That's what the floor is there for. If something starts happening, if an argument starts developing, call the floor. Don't get involved with an argument. Rule number 6. Speed is important. There's no doubt about it. Being a fast dealer means you get more hands out, means you get more tips. But accuracy is even more important. Missed deals cost time and money. So definitely you want to be accurate over speed, but both is of course ideal. Rule number 7, and this one's a good one that I think a lot of dealers don't think about, or maybe they do it, but they don't realize they're doing it. And if they're doing it, good on them. Model yourself according to the table. In other words, if the table is loud and laughing and having fun, you be laughing and having fun. If the table is quiet and serious, you be quiet and serious. If somebody's in the tank and they're contemplating what they're going to do, their hands are to their face, it's taking time, you be contemplative. You go into some type of thinking position. Model yourself to the game and to the player. It makes a smooth transition, and it works. Trust me, it works. Rule number 8. And this applies to some dealers that I see. Err on the side of being quiet. You can't be held responsible for what you don't say, but you sure as heck can be held responsible for what you do say. It is better as a dealer to be quiet than to be talking. Now, this may go against the previous rule, which is if the table is laughing and chatting, you be laughing and having fun. But, you know, remember that you're there to deal poker, not to be a chatterbox. And I've noticed watching chatterbox dealers that, yes, they tend to make a lot more mistakes than dealers that are quiet. So, if you're going to have to err on the side of being quiet. Rule number 9, and this is important too, and I see a lot of older dealers start to make this mistake more than I see new dealers, which is interesting because this is what I consider a dealing wisdom. Rule number 9. Say thank you for every tip, no matter how small the tip is. Remember that they don't have to tip. Tipping is a voluntary luxury thing that they give to you as a dealer to appreciate your service. Don't forget that. They don't have to tip. All right. If you don't get tipped and you get stiffed, don't worry about it. Just go on to the next hand, because you got to keep in the back of your mind that for every non-tipper, there's a tipper, and vice versa, and you need both. The poker room's always going to have both, and you need them both to fill up a game, and you'll get all this as the years go by. And last one, rule number 10, and this is important too. look at the big picture, not just a small one. Listen, you're going to have some great shifts, and you're going to have some lousy shifts. Trust me, you're going to have some shifts where you're just going to want to walk out and do something else. Avoid that. Take a step back. Look at the big picture. As one of my old dealing buddies once said, you got to take the goods with the bads. And everything is going to gel out into an average. Remember that next time you have a shift where people are yelling at you, you're getting stiffed at every game, and all you want to do is do anything else besides what you're doing. Don't worry about it, because there's also going to be a day when you just seem to you sit down and make 20, 30, 40 bucks, you know, in the first couple of hands. You know, average $50 downs. So sometimes it's important when you get flustered, you get frustrated, you're having a bad day. Just remember to step back and look at the big picture and realize that it's all a marathon, not a sprint, and you'll get that average. So I think that's about what I wanted to impart to all you guys. These were the 10 poker dealing wisdoms that I want to share with everybody through my 13 years of dealing poker, and who knows how many more years ago. I can't believe I've been dealing this long. Holy smokes. And hey, thanks for watching. Good luck there at the tables. And if you come to Planet Hollywood, I'll probably see you here. While I'm sweating on the tables, violating every rule I just shared with you. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, if you haven't already, subscribe. Click the thumbs up. Comment down below. Support the channel. You never know what you're going to get on Dealing with the Desert. And also, you could also check out some of my scale modeling videos. And I'm on a weight loss challenge still. I'm still at 208.8. I've been 208.8 for about 2 or 3 days now. I started at 221. I took off my pants. I was 207.3, but we won't count that. My hand's starting to shake. So we'll call it here. And hey, thanks for watching, guys. Keep on keeping on. Whether you think you can or can't, you're right. Cheers.